I've had the unique opportunity to command a class of my peers. I have witnessed this class progress from infancy as indocs through adolescence as juniors to maturity as seniors. Now, as we're about to receive our commissions as ensigns in the greatest Navy in the world, we can look back at our last 16 weeks at OCS and even farther back to our initial decisions to join this service. We have come from all walks of life: prior military service, colleges and universities, and civilian careers. Many have sacrificed otherwise secure and lucrative lives to seek the challenge and adventure awaiting the naval officer. Commitment to the Navy is no simple decision, and reasons for volunteering sometimes are overshadowed by the problems of the day. I believe at least one or two of us thought to ourselves, "What am I doing here?" as a battalion chief was reading the riot act. After more than one or a few push-ups, or mountain climbers, or both, frequently both, the answer to that question had to be reaffirmed. Freedom. Freedom for each and every one of us. Freedom to join the Navy or not to join the Navy. Freedom to cross the 3,000 plus miles from sea to shining sea without papers or checkpoints or approval. Freedom to walk into any grocery store and buy whatever you choose in any quantity. Freedom to elect our president, for even though I work for him, the commander-in-chief, he works for the registered voter. Socialism and communism cannot offer these basic freedoms. I've traveled to many foreign lands and have seen what these totalitarian states offer. Imagine not being allowed to gather together today. Imagine being told which magazines or books are acceptable for review. Imagine censorship at every level of society. The people in those countries will never know the greatness of this land or the principles on which it was formed. This is the purpose that we have joined the Navy for. This is our goal. Not to see if bunks can be made properly at OCS, but can we as naval officers properly prepare our ship and crew for the myriad of challenges ahead? Can we keep our nation at the apex of the free world? Can we keep and ensure our future generations will be free from external control? It's up to each and every one of us as we head to our new duty assignments to keep that objective forwardmost in our minds: freedom. We must succeed. We will succeed. For we're ready to face whatever lies before us, inspired by our senior officers and their senior officers before them. So true is the code of conduct. I am an American, fighting in the forces which guard my country and our way of life. I am prepared to give my life in their defense. Each of us should look deep within ourselves and reaffirm our commitment to our country and its basic premise: freedom. God bless you all.
I'll never forget the first night we came to OCS, cold, dark, rainy night, and walked into K61 and heard those first phrase we ever heard here. 6 inches from the bulkhead. I didn't even know what a bulkhead was. To me, OCS is like a big metamorphosis from civilian life into being a naval officer. For some, this comes harder than for others. But I feel that the harder you have to work for something, the greater the rewards are.
Bravo Company, West 89002, reporting online as directed, sir. When you can run anywhere you want. How you think the naval officer you can't wear a uniform? Give me your point. No, sir. No, sir. Hey,
During the in-dock week, they tell you that maze is very much a part of your first test at OCS. After the maze, I think I felt more like I was totally drained. It was just, you know, did I do it all right? Did I do what I was supposed to do when I was supposed to do it?
Yes, sir. No, sir. Sir, in-dock Hugo. Command Company 1, Newport Battalion, class 89002. Reporting on the line as directed, sir. Listen carefully, I'm not going to repeat them again. You'll be on your own. 9 paces forward. Execute a left base. See, the maze is going to eat you.
Sir, yes, sir.
You scared, enough? You scared? That in-dock. Sorry, yes, sir. Don't the maze is going to eat you up.
The scary and nervous part about it is really that you're tied to all your company mates. Because you're told at the beginning that if you don't make it through, or they don't make it through, none of you make it through, and you get to do it all for 2 more days, and then you get to remaze. I don't know if anybody in this place has ever remazed, but just going through it once, I can tell you that I would not want to have to do it twice in my lifetime.
You got to keep this in the back of your mind. It's your job to save the trainer, our job to sink the trainer, and we've been doing our job a hell of a lot longer than you've been doing yours. We will take every advantage of every mistake that you make. We are going to do our utmost to put as much water into that compartment, all 750 gallons per minute, and hold you up from getting in there to stop that water from coming in. Going down this ladder facing into that compartment, make sure that you have a firm grip on the handrail with one hand. The reason I say one hand is because you'll be carrying your patching materials down in your other. And the reason you want to have a firm grip on that handrail is because you'll have a ruptured fire main right here. And it's going to be blowing 150 pounds of fire main pressure across these ladder treads. This 150 pounds of fire main pressure is going to have a tendency to wash your feet out from underneath of you. So make sure you have a firm grip on that handrail and you put your feet planted firmly on those ladder treads. We don't want you to be washed away. Unlike the classroom where all the sound is muffled, the Buttercup trainer is like an echo chamber, okay? If all of you down there get down there and start screaming, shouting, and carrying on, first thing that's going to happen is your communication is going to break down between your team leaders. After that happens, your teamwork will break down. Once your teamwork breaks down, we sink the trainer. How much water is on deck? 0 to 9 feet. I can guarantee you right now that it's never going to be 0. Okay? The 9 foot will depend upon you, on how well you do. Okay?
This is a drill, this is a drill. General quarters. All hands man your battle stations. Set material conditions Zebra throughout the ship. Make Z report to DC Central.
Now hear this, now hear this. The United States in a state of war with the Republic of Utopia. Enemy aircraft, all hands hit the deck, all hands hit the deck.
Out of firing line, 5 rounds, 20 seconds, target. Already on the firing line, 5 rounds, 20 seconds, target. Take a breather. Work up. Yep.
Report interest is a head full.
semi.
OCS has certainly been both a rewarding and challenging experience for me. During the past 10 years of my adult life, I've spent time in the civilian world and college community learning certain mental attitudes and mental habits, many of which I've had to unlearn in the past 16 years. The most rewarding experience for me here at OCS, I think, occurred during our senior run PT test. I knew my time was going to be borderline and it was going to be a lot of work just trying to qualify. But I had an awful lot of help from my shipmates, both members of my company and other shipmates at OCS as well. They gave me encouragement and helped me not only prior to the run PT test, but actually during it. One of my company members actually came back along the route after he had finished early and ran with me to the end, helping me force my pace. But the most exciting point came when I turned that last corner and saw my company officer standing in the middle of the road and encouraging me to finish strong. The teamwork that I've seen here, the desire to use your strengths to help other people's weaknesses are some of the most important things I've learned here at OCS. And those are the legacies that will hopefully stay with me throughout my naval career.
Faces of men and women who have given their all through adversity and over obstacles to be where they are today. When we arrived back in November, I don't think anybody really knew what was in store for them. I myself thought it would be an 8-to-5 school where we'd come in and learn everything we needed to know and be on our way. I had no idea how sadly mistaken I was. We have learned everything we need in order to move on, but my time frame was a little bit off. Here at OCS, from 0500 early morning PT until 2300 late night studying, we were pushed both mentally and physically to our limits to see just who had the mettle to make it. Well, all of us graduating today have that mettle. The spirit and courage to take on any challenge may come our way. During Indoc Week, we were thrown into situations we had never experienced before. We had no idea why. What relevance can these things serve? How can this prepare me to become a better officer? Well, now we know. Looking back, we can honestly say that everything we've gone through served a purpose. It was during this week that we were transformed from a group of civilians with vastly different backgrounds to a team of officer candidates with a common goal, and that is, to coin a phrase, to be the best we can be. While at OCS, we've not had as much time to eat or sleep or write those long letters to our loved ones we would have wanted. Instead, we've been continuously tested in many areas, from the keel of the ship to the top of the mast. The most important test, however, was taken daily outside of the classroom. It was a combined test of time management, discipline, leadership, and teamwork. The very essence of what being a good officer is all about. This test you've all passed with flying colors. By becoming officers, we've been given a great opportunity. And OCS has provided us with a solid foundation on which to build. It is up to each and every one of us to start building. We'll be placed in leadership roles in one way or another. How well we perform this new role is entirely up to the individual. I happen to think that this class is made up of many outstanding individuals who carry on the highest traditions of the Navy. It is made up of multi-million-dollar ships, machines, and weapon systems. But all these are useless without the pride, the courage, the proper leadership from the men and women who are the backbone of this great country of ours.
And I hear my name on the 1MC, which is the shipboard announcing system. Ensign Reason, laid to the bridge. Well, I was a Naval Academy graduate. I knew that meant for me to go up to the bridge. Now, this is an old DE, and the bridge was an open conning station. You're up on top of the deck house with a little piece of canvas over you, and there's a voice tube through which you transmit your helm orders and your engine orders to the helmsman and lee helmsman down in the deck house, down below you. So as I climbed up onto the open bridge, the ship's captain was there. And he said, "Good morning, Mr. Reason, welcome aboard." "Good morning, sir." He said, "What time is it?" I said, 0750. He said, "You mean 10 minutes to 8? I said, "Yes, sir, 10 minutes to 8. He said, "Fine, at 8 o'clock, get the ship underway, go to sea." And he left. So you're starting to get the feel now that this might be an interesting story. Well, you should have been standing there with me. It was an interesting story. Well, never having been on top of this deck house before, I first said 10 minutes. And I did look around the bridge and I figured out, yeah, I can talk in this voice tube. And I called down, I said, helmsman, is the helm man? Yes, sir. Who else is there? Bosun's mate of the watch, lee helmsman, port and starboard lookouts. Fine. I then continued to look around, and a little bit behind this bridge was sort of a canvas affair. So I was curious, and I walked back there, and there was a chart table, a little table about the size of the podium with a canvas hood over it, so whatever was on the table didn't get wet in the rain. And so I stuck my head in there, and there was a sailor. So I said, good morning, I'm Ensign Reason, who are you? And he said, I'm QM2 Swenson. I said, aha, quartermaster. I said, well, I know what quartermasters do. He said, how long have you been aboard, Petty Officer Swenson? 2.5 years, sir. He said, I guess you've gotten underway from Philadelphia Naval Shipyard several times over those 2.5 years as a quartermaster. Oh, yes, sir. And I said, this is a long pier. It's a long ways from where we are, right up against the land, all the way to the other end, where the Delaware River was lurking. He said, yes, sir, that's about 1,800 feet. He said, it looks like there's a lot of water moving out there. He said, we're at a max tidal change. He said, it just doesn't get any faster than that. Well, the old logical mind is saying, I got a problem here. By golly, I've got to back this ship out into that river, and the river is just really, running 4 or 5 knots, which everyone who's ever driven a small boat or a sailboat or a ship knows that's time for caution and care. Because I certainly wouldn't want to hit a pier or another ship or something like that here at my very first opportunity to excel. So I walked around a little bit more, figured out how many mooring lines there were, looked at my watch. It's now about 4 minutes to 8. So I said, Petty Officer Swenson, in your experience, what is the best way to get this ship away from the pier and safely out in the stream and headed downriver? And he said, sir, there's no best way. He said, there's only one way. I said, would you care to share that with me? And he walked out of his little hooded area for the first time, and I saw he was sort of a crusty old guy. He's not what you would call a AJ super squared away sailor. He didn't have creases in his dungarees, and his shoes showed signs of, a bit of seawater as opposed to a bit of shoe polish. And he sort of walks over to the edge of the deck, and he points astern, and he said, you see that land over there, Mr. Reason? I said, yes, Swenson. He said, that's New Jersey. I said, I know that, Swenson. He said, well, if you want to know any more, that's Avalon State Park. And I said, why do I need to know all of that? He said, because that's what you cannot hit. He said, if you hit New Jersey, we're both dead. I said, okay, what's this one way to get underway? He said, you take in all lines, put your rudder amidships, put all engines back full. Well, now, I wasn't born on the mid-watch. After all, I'd been a midshipman for 4 years, and I had learned to drive ships in YPs, and they always said, do everything with caution. Take it nice and slow. Don't do anything sudden. You take it easy so that you can always correct for your mistakes. It's now about 2 minutes to 8. And I looked down and I gave the order, single up all lines, which was passed down through the phone circuits, and you see the guys on deck taking away the double-wrapped lines and going down to single strands. And I am in pure agony. My first major professional decision, and I felt as if my entire future in the United States Navy rode on that decision. Do I do this the way that I was trained, using caution, using care, moving very slowly, or do I take the advice of this total stranger I've never seen before in my life and go hell-bent for leather? Well, it was now about 1 minute to 8, and I still wasn't sure what I was going to do. I gave the order, take in all lines, stand by to answer all bells, rudder amidships, all engines back full. Now, the old J.D. Blackwood was a steam electric drive ship. That means she responds very quickly. You have a boiler. These are for the engineers, the nukes in here. I'm a nuke, you know, we talk this stuff all the time. You have a boiler that generates steam, that runs a turbine generator set, which generates electricity, and then it goes directly to a humongous electric motor. A very short shaft and a propeller, 2 propellers, astern of the ship, responding or attached to those shafts. So you just move great big rheostats and the motors go up to full speed astern, and you expect the ship to really take off like a rocket, but it's a fairly good sized hunk of metal, so it sits there and sort of jumps up and down. You know, makes a lot of noise and rattles and doesn't go anywhere very quickly. But then it starts to very slowly creep astern and just starts picking up speed and speed and speed. And I said, geez, I didn't know these ships could go so fast going backwards. And as the pier starts to pass alongside, I'm really getting concerned about whether or not I'm going to hit this pier, because I'm really maybe 2.5 feet off the pier and starting to go faster and faster. And then I really leaned over the side and I looked down and I said, glory of all glories, you know. The screws turning astern create a large burble, a large eddy, you know, turbulence beside the ship. And you form this big cushion of turbulence that sort of holds the ship off of the pier. And as you go back, you create more cushion. So I'm picking up speed and really going fast, but as I go fast, I'm getting this nice bubble of turbulent water that keeps the ship from going into the pier and keeps it sitting out just about 3 feet from the pier. Well, by now I'm doing maybe 10 knots astern, you know, which those of you who have any sense of movement on the water know that if you are doing 10 knots next to a stationary item, it's scary. It is really scary. So I'm sitting there calmly with my hands on the life rail, you know, and I think I bent that thing that day. But we kept going faster and faster, and I'm looking at New Jersey, and then the wisdom of Swenson's statement, you know, don't hit New Jersey. So now the question becomes, when do I stop this thing? You know, when do I take off these tremendous turns astern? And I came to a conclusion in my own mind, when the bow passes the end of the pier, that's when I'll stop the screws. Now, when we went past the end of the pier, it was like a shot. You know, we're now doing 15 knots astern. It's a very light ship, very powerful engines. You know, we're really whipping. And I see Swenson coming over and looking at New Jersey. Didn't say a word, but he was looking, and I was getting the message. So I gave all engines stop, and I waited. And as luck would have it, ships have a much larger body under the water in the forward half of the ship than they do at the after end of the ship. You know, there's more underwater hull, if you will, more surface area. For all of the students of physics, that means when you apply a force to that hull and you have a larger area, the force being the current of the Delaware River trying to rush to the ocean, you got a higher cumulative force on the forward end of the ship than you do on the after end of the ship, thereby turning the ship and pointing me downstream. So without doing anything else, I stopped before I hit New Jersey. The ship turned itself downstream, and since the water was moving at 5 knots, the ship is now moving at 5 knots. answering no bells, just following with its rudder amidships. The captain came up to the bridge and he said, "Well, that's pretty good for a Naval Academy graduate." He was an OCS graduate. And he said, "I really expected you to be headed towards Trenton, because had I come out of there very slowly, the river would have acted on the stern of the ship, pushing the stern downstream before you had any force on the forward end, which would have been able to counter it. So I would have been pointed north rather than south. And I would have been going backwards at 5 knots towards the ocean." So he said, "Congratulations, very well done. You're going to be a fine naval officer." And so I looked him in the eye and I said, "Captain, I appreciate your compliments, but really the compliments go to QM2 Swenson. He told me how." And he said, "Well, you deserve a double set of compliments, because you had the guts to believe Swenson." And that's the end of that story. But I share that with you for one real moral. And that is, as you follow down this path of being a naval officer, you are only as good, you may only excel within the bounds of support of the fine sailors that will work for you. If they want you to fail, you will fail. If they want you to succeed, your success will be limitless. What makes the difference between those two options? Your willingness to be a responsible, caring, but knowledgeable leader. If you are all of those things, they will make you look good and allow you to be a successful naval officer. One pearl of wisdom, if there's anything that I could garner from 24 years of military service, word of advice: always take the hardest of the jobs that you are offered, but whatever job you receive, give it your absolutely best shot. Do your very best job. Not only for yourself, for your families, for your friends, even for the Navy, but for this country of ours. As you travel the world, you will come to truly understand she is really a great nation. Best wishes to each of you. I know you will do well. I'll see you in the fleet. Thank you.
Emma Carrie Alvarez, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Edward Asuesna, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Susan Michelle Banks, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. With distinction, Benjamin Kyle Barrett, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. Sean Jeffrey Bergen, Officer in charge of construction, Naval Facility Engineering Command, Guam. Carla Christine Blair, Naval Communication Area Master Station, Guam. Rock Edward Blaze, Basic Underwater Demolition School, Coronado, California. George Douglas Bowling, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Carlene Lee Brady, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. Michael Arthur Brooks, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. Mariana Mustika Budiman, Naval Air Facility El Centro Security Detachment, El Centro, California. Stephen Ewad Butler, USS Mahan, DDG 42, Norfolk, Virginia. Padraig Pierce Declan Byrne, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. David Melanchthon Callard, Basic Underwater Demolition School, Coronado, California. Thomas Curtis Calvert, Naval Security Group Detachment, Naples, Italy. Dana Maurice Calvin, USS Jewett, CG-29, San Diego, California. Andrew Rice Carruthers, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia.
You're welcome.
Mark Brian Chapman, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia.
Good luck. Study hard.
Sheldon Anthony Chapman, USS Roosevelt, CVN 71, Norfolk, Virginia. Chevy Cheveria, USS Schenectady, LST 1185, San Diego, California.
See you in San Diego.
Robert Preston Chew, USS Samuel Eliot Morrison, FFG 13, Charleston, South Carolina.
Good luck.
Kimberly D. Cobb, USS Acadia, AD 42, San Diego, California.
You're going to work for me?
Rebecca Gail Kalana, Training Squadron 21, Kingsville, Texas.
Good luck.
Alan Ewell Cooper, Basic Underwater Demolition School, Coronado, California.
See you on the beach.
Todd Russell Coulter, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia.
Good luck, pal.
With distinction, John Randolph Craig, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida.
What is the distinction again?
Margaret Mary Cushing, Personnel Support Detachment, Corey Station, Pensacola, Florida. With distinction, John Anthony Demers, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Ronald Edward Diaz, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Jeffrey Brian Drinkard, Basic Underwater Demolition School, Coronado, California. Randolph Freeman Duncan, USS Paul, FF 1080, Mayport, Florida. William Henry Dunn, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. James Esau, USS Nashville, LPD 13, Norfolk, Virginia.
Good luck, Shipman.
Edward James Ellis, USS Anchorage, LSD 36, Long Beach, California. Coley Lynn Evans, Basic Underwater Demolition School, Coronado, California. William Andrew Ferretti, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. Randall Ray Flanagan, Northern Division Contracts Office, Crane, Indiana. Andrew Daniel Flores, USS Rushmore, LSD 47, San Diego, California. Philip Anthony Folo, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Wilbert Carmelo Fontan, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. Timothy Constantine Phronimos, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Anne Marie Furing, Training Squadron 7, Meridian, Mississippi. Lawrence Franklin Gauze, USS Fort McHenry, LSD 43, San Diego, California. Rebecca Mercedes Jackelman, Helicopter Anti-Submarine Squadron 30, Norfolk, Virginia. Paul Anthony Godek, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Robert Stephen Goldsmith, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Andrew Morris Gorman, Naval Security Group Activity, Chesapeake, Virginia. Elizabeth Louise Grady, Naval Security Group Activity, Homestead, Florida. Christopher Joseph Grew, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. Jennifer Ruth Ann Group, Commander, Naval Military Personnel Command, Washington, D.C. David Lawrence Gundlach, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. With distinction, Robert Andrew Hall, Jr., USS John Hancock, DD 981, Mayport, Florida. Rebecca Lee Harper, Training Wing 5, Naval Air Station, Whiting Field, Florida. Latanya Rochelle Harris, Helicopter Anti-Submarine Squadron 37, Barbers Point, Hawaii. Leanne Heaton, Atlantic Fleet Weapons Training Facility, Roosevelt Roads, Puerto Rico. Jürgen Heitman, Basic Underwater Demolition School, Coronado, California. James Clarkson Henderson, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Thomas Aquinas Herman, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. With distinction, Carl Richard Herron, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Ruth Alicia Hiles, Naval Facility, Adak, Alaska. Douglas Perry Horner, Basic Underwater Demolition School, Coronado, California. Alec David Hugo, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Mary Ann Jenkins, USS Mars, AFS-1, Alameda, California. Kevin Michael Jennings, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Susan Leah Johnson, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Bradley J. Keller, Atlantic Division Contracts Office, Roosevelt Roads, Puerto Rico. Robert Wusak Kim, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. Thomas Lester King III, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. Paul Robert Kloberg, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Corey Dwayne Kramer, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Pamela Sue Kunze, Electronic Reconnaissance Squadron 33, Key West, Florida. Richard Franklin Lane, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Edward Anthony Larmore, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. With distinction, Eric Howard Law, Basic Underwater Demolition School, Coronado, California. Eric Muse Leitner, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. John Loy, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. Sharon Louise Long, Commander, Naval Security Group, Washington, D.C. With distinction, Frederick James Liu, Naval Mobile Construction Battalion, Port Hueneme, California. Derek Malone Louch, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. With distinction, Wallace George Lovely, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. Craig David MacDonald, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. Joseph Francis Mahan, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Raymond Jose Mardini, Western Naval Facilities Engineering Division, Silverdale, Washington. Grady Eugene Mars, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Johnny Merle Marshall, Jr., Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. With distinction, Michael William Martin, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. Peter Harold Matson, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. Alan Boyd McCain, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Nathan Rogers McClellan, USS Cleveland, LPD-7, San Diego, California. John Joseph Merlino, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Harold Napoleon Morris, USS Sellers, DDG-11, Charleston, South Carolina. Min Duc Nguyen, United States Naval Station, Panama, Rodman, Panama. Yvonne Danette Norton, Commander, Fleet Air Forces Mediterranean, Naples, Italy. Thomas Joseph O'Leary, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. Julie Ann Otting, USS Dixon, AS-37, San Diego, California. Marion Denise Palmer, Naval Regional Data Automation Center, Newport, Rhode Island. Mark Allen Pegg, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Scott Allen Penberg, Nuclear Power School, Orlando, Florida. Kevin Martin Pfeiffer, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Kenneth Lawrence Proctor, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Stephen George Rady III, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. Kimberly Ann Riddle, Naval Air Station, Meridian, Mississippi. Ronaldo St. Clair Sanchez, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. David Martin Sanders, Navy and Marine Corps Intelligence Training Center, Dam Neck, Virginia. Eric Matthew Sassenfeld Sr., Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. With distinction, Erica Lauren Sauer, Oceanographic Unit 5, Gulfport, Mississippi. Scott Oliver Shetter, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Richard James Schlegel, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Jean Ann Schmidt, Naval Facility, Brodie, Wales. Melvin Andrew Schaefer, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Mary Ellen Smith, USS Yellowstone, AD-41, Norfolk, Virginia. Anthony Allen Sorrell, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. David John Stalin, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. James Edward Stein, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Philip Carl Stevens, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Willie James Stigler, USS Jesse L. Brown, FF-1089, Charleston, South Carolina. Jerry Stingle Taylor, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Teresa Maria Taylor, Helicopter Anti-Submarine Squadron 32, Norfolk, Virginia. Jeannie Ming Terry, Helicopter Anti-Submarine Squadron 30, Norfolk, Virginia. With distinction, Kevin Christopher Thomas, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Mark Lewis Thomas, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Michael Anthony Tinsley, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Mark Daniel Waddell, Swimmer Delivery Vehicle Team 1, Hawaii. Morgan Earl Walker, USS Rushmore, LSD 47, San Diego, California. Tamara Renee Walker, USS Sylvania, AFS 2, Norfolk, Virginia. William Carter Watson, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Scott Elwell Whitmore, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Joseph Peter Wilking, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. With distinction, Anthony John Williams, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia. Gregory Dwight Williams, USS Forrestal, CV-59, Mayport, Florida. David Joseph Zahler, Supply Corps School, Athens, Georgia.
Last graduate!
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do hereby accept appointment as ensign in the United States Navy, and do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation. Or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge. The duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations to you all.
3 cheers for those we leave behind. Hip hip. Hooray!